Got him trained.
And we are back. Another beautiful day at the Waterboyz Show. What's up, B Rich?
What up, Trey?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good, man. I see what?
I see in your red.
Oh, yeah,
your
man.
Your fire engine red Waterboyz shirt.
Hey,
I love that.
Listen, let me tell you, man. Anytime I get the opportunity to rock some of our own merch, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Whether it's this or whether it's the Blood Pressure Birds merch talking about those Falcons, I'm going to wear every single chance I get. And guess what? Everybody out there, I feel like you should do the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you love these Blood Pressure Birds, if you love the Waterboyz Show and want to support, man, scroll right on over to 285clothing.com. That's 285clothing.com. Get you some of this Blood Pressure Birds merch. Get you some of this Waterboyz Show merch, man. We even got the merch. We talked about Dominique really should have won the dunk contest against Jordan in '88. We got the big Neat One sweatshirts that you see me wearing in the Move skit. Mm-hmm. And we got plenty of other clothing from Atlanta culture, man. So scroll right on over to 285clothing.com, man. And after that, hey, man, show us a little digital currency, man. We got a guest today, and I don't know if he's heard that or not, but we have a little thing around here, Joe, that we call digital currency. It's just showing a little love.
It's free.
Online. It's free. It's free. You don't have to spend $1 out your pocket, but, hey, just showing that support, hitting a like, leaving a comment, doing those type things gives us the type of support that helps our show elevate as far as visibility, so more people who like this kind of content can find us and they can keep benefiting from this hard work that we putting out there. So please go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating, leave us comments. We do reply to those comments. Shout out to everybody who comes in the comments and interacts with us on a consistent basis, man. We truly appreciate you guys. And if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe. Do all of those things, right? All right, so now that we had that little house business out of the way, you got anything you need to say before we get into it and let them know who the man of the hour is?
Yeah, look, if y'all out here right now, share the live. Share it. Like it. That helps us expand, and it gets us in the algorithm to where everybody can see us. If you love the show, like you said, that's free digital currency.
Yeah, man, please do that. Share, tell everybody, man, that we got somebody who about to break down some of the best things you ever heard when it comes to the birds. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to hear it or not, he got the info.
I got some questions. I got some good questions that y'all want to hear.
All right, man. So look, the guy today, man, let me tell you something. If you know anything about 92.9 The Game, man, he bringing the Falcon info to 92.9 The Game. He knows what's going on. I mean, I don't think the man could be more close to the information. The only way he could get closer is if he had a Falcons uniform to go out and play in every single Sunday. And even then, I think he has more information than those guys. Look, hey, and if you out there on the pitch, you know what I'm saying? If you're out there, did I get it right?
That's right.
Yeah, right then. Hey, man, if you're out there on the pitch, you want to know anything about Atlanta United, this is the guy and this is the gentleman to put you up on all game, all things Atlanta United, all things Atlanta Falcons, those Blood Pressure Birds, and all things Five Stripes. So this is what we about to do right now, man. I need y'all to give it up right now for our guy, Joe Patrick in the building. What's up, my guy?
I've never gotten that before. This is a new experience for me. Usually I'm the one like you, given the introduction, so I don't even know what to say now. That was incredible. That was amazing.
Well, look, first of all, we want to say thank you for coming down. We reached out to you, and you immediately said that you would come through. I think this was last week. So within a week, you came through, and we truly appreciate it, man. Like we listened to you. So people see us doing the content, right? But little do they know that we are also fans. So we hear the voices, we see the videos, we get the information from people such as yourself. We hear Carl Dukes, we hear Mike Bell, we hear the State Shapiro's of the world, the Two Live Stews, we hear the home team
the
Brandon.
Two Live Stews,
yeah.
What a callback! My gosh,
man,
that's some real shit right there.
Yeah, man. We hear the D. Orlando Ledbetters, man. We hear the Brian McFadden when he comes on with Dukes and Bell. You know what I mean? We hear Andy and Randy. We hear all the guys, and we are fans just as much as there are people out there who are able to be supporters of what we do. So to have someone in studio, and you might not feel that way, but hearing your voice and on a consistent basis, it is an honor to have you sit down with us, man.
Well,
So thank you, Joe.
I've been telling you guys, it's an honor to be here.
Yeah,
I mean,
you.
I came across your stuff. You're talking about that digital currency. Like, that's how I found out about you guys, which was just, through some of the skits you were doing early on with the channel. And yeah, it's really cool to finally sit down with you guys. And one of the reasons, I responded so fast is that I wanted to come in is 'cause I just like to talk about the Falcons. I just like to talk
Nice.
ball, and I'm a fan like you guys. Like
Yeah.
I told you, called you out for the Two Live Stews thing. Like I remember listening to the Two Live Stews when I was in high
100%.
school.
Yeah.
Their radio show you probably couldn't do nowadays because of some of the, they had some
Yeah.
some maybe uncouth ways of dealing with callers. Let's put it that way. But they were great fun, and it just takes me back. I mean, I remember I've probably been to every Falcons playoff games a fan because it was before I kind of got into the journalism aspect
Wow.
of it. Since they've been to the playoffs,
Wow,
it's
serious?
been 8 years or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, here in the Atlanta area and going to all those games, and I just can't wait for a kid to have that experience of like going to a Falcons playoff game where you have that like electric energy. I always think back, guys, to the first Falcons playoff game that I think I went to, and I can remember was one against the Rams in 2003 or 4, and they blew him out of the water.
Man,
I mean,
that was
Allen
awesome.
Rossum had like a
Man.
punt return for a touchdown, I think, in
bet
that
you.
game.
That was
Ward
a
Gunn
Sat-
went
that was a
crazy.
Saturday night, too.
It was a Saturday night. It was a
Yes.
Saturday night, and this is the thing about playoff football. You get a nice Saturday night, a little chill in the air.
Yeah.
You get the grills fired up. You got all day on a Saturday to just kind of get wild. Me and my friends, we were in high school at the time, like mid high school, so we weren't necessarily doing all the adult beverage stuff, but like
Yeah.
we got the DVD Dunvick Duckett T-shirts
Yeah.
from some guy
Awesome.
and in the Gulch.
I think I was at that
we got
game.
taken for $20 for some 3-card Monty, but that's kind of that's all
That-
part
that's
of the
what happened.
experience.
That's all
That's
part of the experience.
You know.
You know
And,
what I'm
saying?
yeah.
I was at that game.
Yeah,
I was at that game.
That game was
Trey,
incredible.
I think you was at that game too.
I was
Bohagan.
too. I was
Yeah.
too. I was at that game.
Funny story. This is like high school hijinks.
Okay.
During the game, my friend had nachos, and there was a lovely woman sitting in front of us with a nice leather jacket draped over her chair. And something exciting happens in the game because there was like lots of big moments. My friend spills his nachos all over this woman's jacket.
Oh.
She's up cheering, so she doesn't see it happen, and he just flips the jacket over. And then we just made sure we got out of there before she did.
Oh man. Oh
So
man.
let's give her jacket was on the chair. He spilled it and he flipped it over.
Yeah, just flipped it over real quick before she
Oh
got
my
done cheering that
God.
touchdown.
Oh man! Oh man! Hey, well, you know what? Y'all went high school. That sounds like something that high schoolers would do.
She
and
lived, I'm
I'm
sure.
gonna tell you about that game. I remember being at that game. I can't remember. I think it was the very first series. I don't remember which play. Like as far as the first, second, or third play in that first series when Vic broke for 40-something yards. Like remember, Vic
gotta
drops
remember.
back. Vic drops back for the pass. Man, nowhere to throw it. That they lost contain. Vic runs for like 40, 50 yards. That was like the first big play in that playoff game. Man, it was amazing. Like you said, Ward Dunn went crazy. I know Ward Dunn went clear over 100. Vic was about over 100. They had Duckett chiming in. Man, that was a huge game.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, it's hard to compare because Mercedes-Benz Stadium hasn't had a playoff game yet to host to really kind of feel that energy. But I will say the thing about that Georgia Dome back in the day was it was so tight. You were really packed on top of each other to the point where you're spilling nachos on your fellow Falcons fan.
Yeah.
But, I think that added something to like that, just that electric energy that the team had in that building. And it was Falcons fans probably wouldn't even remember this. But, there was a time where Falcons fans were getting teams to jump off sides or having call timeouts,
so
false
loud.
starts all the time. And then that would even get you going even more. And, for one reason or another, that's kind of dissipated. But, hopefully this team can start building again. And I think it might be a bit of a longer road than, we would have hoped for. Obviously with the Arthur Smith and then the Raheem Morris tenures. But, they got to just put one step in front of the other. And it's a winnable division. That's at least the thing to look forward to is that it doesn't feel like you're kind of shut out of competing like it might when you're in the AFC and you don't have a quarterback around all these other great quarterbacks that they got out there. So we'll just love to see the Falcons kind of have that energy again. And again, for the fans and for the kids who haven't really gotten to experience that when you're in your kind of formative years as a sports fan.
Like you said, if we win a division like that, I think that's the AFC West with the Chiefs and the Broncos, and the Chargers. Like you would kind of
and the Raiders. It feels a long ways away from them.
Yeah, so like if you're a Raiders fan, that's tough because you got 3 teams ahead of you. That I know the Chiefs had a bad year last year, but Champ not gonna be knocked down long. So I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'm gonna let B Rich go ahead and jump in. When you speak about being in high school and watching them in the playoffs, I had a young gentleman walk up to me at one of the games this year. I think it was either the first or second home game. And he said, man, I love y'all content. But he told me something that blew me away, and it really something that I wish Arthur Blank could hear, because I know he wants the team to succeed. But these are the type of things that the decision makers need to hear about what some of the fans are going through and what they're feeling. He said, man, I'm in the 11th grade. The last time the Falcons made the playoffs, I was in the 3rd grade. That's tough
brutal.
when you think about how much life happens from 3rd grade to the 11th grade. It's like you're living a totally different life, and the Falcons have not sniffed the playoffs since then, and that's tough.
And I wish it weren't the case, but I think it's just the plain truth, which is that when you do miss the playoffs for that long, and you have your own fans who have this kind of, for lack of a better word, miserable experience, having coming up short time and time again, your team turns into a meme. Like your team becomes associated with things that are not good. And it can happen the other way too. Like the Chiefs are a meme because they always kind of pull it out, like one loss game or one score games or whatever. Like, they're going to find a way. And for teams like the Falcons, like the Jets, who haven't had success in so long, it's the opposite. You are kind of, especially for national media, what talking points do they have? The only thing they understand about you as a football team, as a club, is that you have this bad track record. And so that's what they're going to go off of. It's kind of frustrating for me as like a local media person who's in these press conferences and kind of hearing it straight, then to hear the national media discussion, and it's not always accurate kind of in the way that their opinions are reflected, what's the reality. But again, what cures all that is winning. And we talk about a lot, there's so much that goes into being a sports fan of any team, but ultimately, if that team wins, you're going to have a happy fan base that appreciates the team, enjoys the team, is proud of being a fan of the team. That's what the Falcons have to get back to. They got to get back to where Falcons fans feel proud to go out and wear that Falcon on their chest.
I agree.
Right. It's a lot of stuff I want to unpack.
Yeah, so he's ready.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the coach. I want to talk about the quarterback. I want to talk about the Falcons. All right. So we're gonna start with the quarterback because everybody's concerned about Michael Penix Jr. We got rumors that Kyler Murray is being released, and we're interested in him. Man, what's up with the quarterback situation? I saw today that John Gruden interviewed Michael Penix, and he said he's going to be on schedule for training camp. Give us the word what's going on with Michael Penix and where we're sitting. Will he be ready, and will he be able to comprehend what Kevin Stefanski's playbook and everything consists of?
Yeah, I think to start, I got to kind of caveat this is probably the hardest time for someone in my seat as like a reporter on this team to be able to accurately kind of predict where they're going, what they want to do, for a couple of reasons. One, it's always kind of that way this time of year. You've got free agency coming up. You've got the draft coming up. Yeah, I remember talking to Arthur Smith about this one time. He's like, these teams protect their strategies like state secrets, as to like what they want to do because it's a competitive edge. You got to beat other teams out in the market to sign these players and acquire these players. So you don't want to give away your strategy. And so you have that already puts me in a bit of a fog of war, combined with the fact that brand new GM, brand new head coach. So previously, even in these circumstances, I could still say, okay, well, I know Terry Fontenot likes this kind of player, or I know they've indicated that they want to build this. What's kind of exciting for me at this point is I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. So I just kind of wanted to kind of lay that out first and foremost. As it relates to the quarterback, it's really interesting. And I feel like I've ridden a roller coaster with Michael Penix because after those first 3 games his rookie year when he came in and took over for Kirk Cousins, I thought he was phenomenal. Like the downfield passing, even though it wasn't always accurate, he was accurate in the biggest moments on some of the 4th down situations. Yes. I know everybody remembers that one to Kyle Pitts for the touchdown against the Commanders. Yes. But he had another big 4th down completion on like a 4th and 15 or something to Drake. Exactly. Yeah. Down the sideline, whereas I have to have it or you're going to lose the game situation. So love to see that from Mike. And then in that Carolina game at the end of the year as well, it was a shootout, and he had some incredible throws down the field. And, I just couldn't be more excited. And then, this past season, none of what I thought were his strengths really materialized on the field. And I think that part of it is probably down to the play caller, Zach Robinson, they had last year, who I don't think really set Mike up to succeed. It just felt like the offense was odd. And I want to say, I don't think the play calling was necessarily setting Mike back in particular. I just think the whole offense was not really kind of running like a well-oiled machine like you'd like to see. But then for whatever reason, Michael Penix did not have a pass more than 20 yards downfield all season.
Or they went. I saw a stat between the hashes. He was like 6 for 9 the whole year.
Yeah,
throwing in between.
Not really throwing down the middle of the field, which is where a lot of these offensive minds, the Shanahans, and that's where they want to attack, because that's where a lot of the gaps are. And then if they do have to cover that up, it just opens up so much of the field and a lot of run after catch opportunities when you can complete down there. But my calculus for Penix to be a success here was, or at least in his first year, was okay. We know he's not the most accurate guy, but he has this amazing cannon attached to his left shoulder, and so I think those big high impact high value plays, the 50-yard touchdowns, the big 20-yard completions you can have on some of these kind of need to have it situations, I thought that he would hit on enough of those to outweigh some of the frustrating you should have had that one, and they didn't. Ultimately, he was not able to connect on enough of those high-value passes. And so that's kind of the backdrop heading into this new regime taking over, Matt Ryan, Ian Cunningham. And something that Matt Ryan has said that's really kind of perked my ears, and I can't remember exactly when he used this, but he said, we need to make our layups. And that, to me, was kind of coming back at, actually, we can't just rely on these big plays. We actually have to be more consistent hitting the plays we expect to make that pick up certain yardages for us, that put us in the down and distances, that allow the team to kind of have some continuity and stay on the field, et cetera, et cetera. It just leads to good offensive football. And I think that's what Mike has to prove this year coming into it, that he's able to do it. And it's a really tough spot for him because he's got this injury that he's dealing with. And while I'm sure he's going to be working hard on rehab, which they're really praising him on, I'm sure he's going to be working hard in the film room to, get up on Stefanski's system. At some point, he does have to kind of improve in some of these physical areas, having more consistency in his throws on some of these short balls. Obviously, the under center stuff has been a big talking point as well. So I think he's going to have to prove to the coaching staff that he can operate that way, or they can design something for him. But he's going to have some physical things, I think, that he has to prove to this coaching staff and this front office that he's just physically not able to do right now. Yeah. And so how long into the season does that go? Maybe, hopefully, according to what he said to Gruden, he is able to be back in training camp and able to show some of these things, that he can get back on the field as fast as possible. But I don't think him returning to the starting quarterback situation is going to be just about the injury. Like, the second he's healthy and ready to play, he's going to be in there. Yeah. I think he's going to have to prove some things on the practice field, which is probably the way it should be. Sorry to keep vamping on this, but I feel like a lot of one issue that a lot of Falcons fans had was there was no kind of competition for these guys, and so maybe it would be a good thing actually for Mike to have that competitive edge as it pertains to having this roster spot locked down, that actually gets the best out of him as a player.
I agree.
He seems like a competitive guy too.
To touch on what you were saying about the his first year in the last 3 games he played, he did really well. But I think defenses got a chance to study what he was doing, and they kind of all right, let's take this away, see if he can do that. And he never had a chance to adjust, because I think Zach Robinson, with the injuries to the right tackle, I feel like that kind of flustered and kind of messed up Zach Robinson's mindset. I feel like those 2 injuries to the tackles, who the tackles
McGarry,
name? McGarry and Storm Norton.
And then Storm Norton as well.
Yeah, so I think back to back, I think that kind of messed up his play calling from the rip. Yeah. And so I can't prove that or whatever, but that's what I think, because before then, everybody's like, this offense is going to be clicking, this. And then next thing you know, he's running the pistol 90% of the time in the first 4 games. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that.
I know. I was not a big fan of the pistol shotgun exclusive approach. I don't care if you're running plays out of pistol or shotgun, but it's when you're doing
predictable.
It all the
it's
time.
predictable.
Yeah. And I think defenses were able to figure out how to attack it. That kind of disrupted the flow of how they wanted these plays to develop when it's coming out of that pistol look. So, yeah, I agree. And then the other interesting thing about, and to your point, and I don't know either exactly how much that injury may have disrupted Zach and what they wanted to do, but that injury happened right at the end of training camp.
Yeah,
they were ready to go into the season.
Exactly.
And then that injury occurred.
And it's like, oh no, yeah. So now that's how I feel. Now the second question I want to ask you. I wasn't a fan of the hire of Kevin Stefanski at first. I was kind of upset. I didn't understand how we would hire a guy 2 years in a row, had a worse record than Raheem. But seeing the staff that they put together, I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. Who is Kevin Stefanski, and can he get us there?
Who is Kevin Stefanski? He's boring. That's what I. But I think it's like that's a feature and not a bug for the way that Matt Ryan wants to set up the leadership of the organization.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Raheem, right? He's like a great guy, super charismatic and jovial and fun to be around. But I don't know if Matt Ryan saw that as being the kind of tone that he wants a leader to set. I think that he wants the locker room to kind of be leading the. I don't know what the word is, but just the vibes, I guess, of the team instead of it kind of being dictated from the approach that the coach has. And so honestly, I have not gotten to know Kevin really. I mean, we've had the one very stodgy press conference where we're up at the stadium and So honestly, you get to know the coaches a lot more during OTAs when it's a lower profile press conference. Sometimes some coaches will just talk with media as well, just kind of casually outside of the confines of that actual press conference. So hopefully get to know Kevin a little bit more there. But I don't know what else to add to it. And I'm not a person who likes to kind of when the hire is made to say great hire, bad hire, he's going to be good, he's going to be bad. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to mix with this team. But I do trust Matt Ryan. I think that's where a lot of this decision making comes down to. Yeah, that's how I feel. He's been in that locker room long enough. And I think the other thing about Matt is that he's been in the locker room recently. He's been around players, been in the locker room with players who are currently playing before the Falcons, like Kyle Pitts, Chris Lindstrom, all these guys. And I think that that's, again, a feature, not a bug. Some people will say, oh, he's so young, he doesn't know what he's doing. I actually think it benefits him and the team overall to have had him in that position so recently, so he really understands. Kyle Pitts is a great example as a guy who's a bit of an enigma. Nobody kind of knows who he is. He's a little bit kind of a recluse, media-wise. He's not putting himself out there necessarily. Mm-hmm. Well, Matt Ryan knows pretty much all you need to know about Kyle Pitts as a football player, as who he is as a person, how he's developed through these first few years. So that's kind of where I if I'm a Falcons fan, it's I'm trusting Matt Ryan. I'm trusting that he kind of knows the right formula that a successful team needs.
Yeah. So speaking of Michael Penix, to go back to Mike, I feel like there's a portion of the fan base that has seemed to already have given up on Mike. I'm not in that portion myself. I still believe that when healthy, and I understand the health scares a lot of people, and so they get no debate from me on that. But as far as his potential to become a very good quarterback and a starting franchise quarterback when healthy, and if he continues to be healthy, I still believe that he can do that. But in the meantime, the Falcons have to make decisions. So if you had to throw a dart and say who you think could potentially come in or be brought in to play quarterback alongside Mike Penix or give that type of competition, who do you think the Falcons could possibly have their eye on? Or who do you have your eye on that you think could be a good fit and play that role?
It's really interesting. By the way, can I drink some of Mike Vick's?
Man.
I should have done this when we were talking about that
speaking of
the Rams.
Speaking of that, I was going to get to go ahead and bust that thing open.
Oh, yeah.
Check this out.
Do a live taste test right here.
So this is 7. This is
V7. The V7
so good.
Hydration. This is Mike Vick's water. Shout out to V7 Hydration. They sent us a case of water over right in time for Joe Patrick to get some. So this is Michael Vick's water company. This is the first water that he has put out, man. And around these parts, man, we love Michael Vick. We were just talking about that playoff run that he made in that playoff game. So hey, man, V7 Hydration. How you like it, B?
Hey, so look, man, I just took a sip of it. I feel like I can do a 40-yard run for the Falcons.
like me.
And I'm putting, y'all know me with the water, I'm putting the water energy out there. We're going to spread the V7 to the Falcons players, and they're going to take it to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl because we're putting it out there. So drink you some
That's
V7,
right.
man.
You know what I think? You remember the old commercial, man, where Vic threw the ball out the stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe if you drink this V7 hydration, you too can throw a ball out the stadium. So look, get you some V7 hydration. Go down to your local stadium and throw
the ball out the stadium. I can throw it out the Mercedes-Benz.
Right through the roof. You know what I'm saying?
And I believe Michael Penix could throw the ball out of a stadium too. I mean, this guy's arm is like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But so to get back to your question, sorry for the interruption there, but I think there are reasonable reasons to be a little bit like more skeptical about like whether the timing for Penix and the way that he's able to recover is going to line up with kind of the way that the Falcons are building this team. But I think like where a lot of people jump the gun is like everybody should be and is, like everybody in the Flowery Branch for sure, is rooting for Michael Penix to be a roaring success. Like that is the best case scenario for the Falcons, which is for him to, play better and better and better. No quarterback plays his best in his first few years.
Yeah,
Even Matt Ryan, I think for as great as he was, as great as his career was, the first few years he was okay. Like that's the way I would kind of categorize him. Now he was pretty clutch. He had some great like fourth quarter comebacks. To win the game at the last second, but just as a quarterback, he wasn't like, blowing the doors off. And I think that's, where the Falcons need Michael Penix, is they need him to be just consistent to a point where they can keep their offense on the field, or more importantly, keep their defense off the field, keep them fresh. This team, when it was described to us by Raheem Morris last year, it was, we want to be explosive, we want to play with leads, and then we want to build this defense to then be able to go and get after the quarterback with real, real athletes that we haven't kind of seen here in recent years, where you had it built up by like Ryan Nielsen and Arthur Smith with more kind of like bigger physical guys up front. And I thought that really that way in which they built the defense worked well, but they just didn't get that offensive component. A lot of that was down to the issues they were having, with the quarterback, with the play caller, with all of it. So I agree. I think people are obviously lower on Penix after having suffered the injury and having gone through these struggles that he went through last year, but I don't think that it's over for him. But this is going to be a really important year for him. Well, like he's got to show the strides this year. And again, that's where I think Penix, with just kind of who I see him as this like kind of quiet competitor. He's kind of like an introvert as well. But he really, really wants to win. And he has a really natural leadership ability about him too, I think, which is that he doesn't try to be a leader. Like, it's interesting for me. I started covering the Falcons in 2022. And so I saw, Marcus Mariota most noticeably in Desmond Ridder, where it felt like he was trying to put on the leadership stuff. Yeah. Like, I would see him after practice. He would be going around the locker room and he would be running these meetings, these kind of post-practice meetings to kind of go over things. Mm-hmm. And I very quickly got the impression that some of his teammates were like, let's go to this meeting. And like, because I think that he just felt like it was something that he is supposed to do as a quarterback, as a leader.
He had to do it. Not something that's natural.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember this, Taylor Heineke. This kind of became a thing in the media, like, oh, Desmond Ridder is running these meetings after practice. And Heineke was like, yeah, I'm still letting him run the meetings. Because I don't know how many people actually wanted to be in these meetings. And because Ridder would be going around the locker room, like, reminding guys, like 5 minutes after they got in there, like, hey, we're meeting. And the season is already kind of going down the drain here. But Penix is not like this. And it's not that he doesn't like want to be in these meetings, talk to his guys. They actually come to him. Like, that's how I perceive it. Like, they kind of want to be around him, and I think his teammates kind of appreciate who he is. Now, obviously, his teammates all want to be winners. They all want to, get theirs, so to speak, and the quarterback is a huge part of that. So that's obviously the next step for him.
Yeah.
All right, James Pierce Jr., man. Is he going to play this year?
I don't think so. Obviously, again, another caveat, just my speculation. Sorry if I'm hitting the table on this, guys.
No, you
good. All my speculation, because the team has been like literally like lips tied to the point where, and this is where I'm kind of like, come on, guys, like, you got to tell us something here. I asked Jeff Ulbrich, like, there's obviously a lot of unknowns in this scenario. But you have to operate in this environment with unknowns. Like, you're going to be going through free agency. You're going to be going through the draft, probably not knowing what the exact outcome is for James Pierce Jr. So how are you operating in that situation? And, well, yeah, you're right. There are unknowns, and we can't talk about it for that reason. So it's been frustrating that, we haven't kind of gotten more. But that, to me, tells you that there's probably something that they're thinking about along the lines of, like, their pass rush, this particular position, that they don't want to just say, like, oh, yeah, we need to go out and draft a guy, or we are looking now at signing, an additional edge.
Yeah.
Again, because of what we talked about earlier, how people want to keep all this stuff close to the vest. So actually, we're not saying anything about this tells me that they actually probably are thinking about it. They are thinking about how they need to
address it.
Address it. And personally, if you were to ask me my opinion, like, I don't think he probably actually plays for the Falcons again. That's just what I was going to ask you next. That's just my reading of.
Why do you think that?
Because of the particular charge of him assaulting the police officer, allegedly hitting with the car. That is a charge that often ends with a considerable amount of jail time attached to it. So depends on if that charge sticks. We'll see. But considering it happened to a police officer, that's where it's like those charges don't get dropped.
Yeah.
And the fact that Rakia Jackson said that she was, like, willing to come out and be be as helpful as possible to the police doesn't tell me that she's looking to, like, drop charges. And if it's as bad as what it appeared to be, like, the guy probably does need to get some help from somewhere, and maybe football shouldn't be his first priority.
No.
At the other side of that is, like, sometimes your job, your vocation can help you get away from, like, some of these, like, personal things that are happening. I don't know what's going on in his life, but I'm not trying to say that, like, getting away from football would necessarily be better for him, but he's just in, like, a really bad situation right now, personally, for his life. So I certainly hope that he kind of gets straight however he needs to.
Yeah, we echo those same sentiments.
But I do think it puts pressure on the Falcons to, like, have to address this just with the roster.
So, speaking of that, we gave away our first round pick this year for James Pierce Jr. We have 5 picks, man. Where do you think we're going with them?
It's really interesting. I'll have a better idea of where they're going with him after free agency, because I think if you're a GM, what you're doing this time of year is you're saying, okay, where are our needs on the football team? We want to address for the Falcons. Let's say we need an off-ball linebacker, especially if we're going to lose Kaden Ellis. We need a center if we want to give Ryan Newsel some competition. Obviously, we need receiving help, a cornerback too. We have all these needs, right? Well, okay. Who is available in free agency? Who do we feel like in the free agent market best suits what we're looking for? And same with the draft. We're scouting these draft we're scouting these draft prospects. Which ones do we like? Who we'd want to bring into our building? There's some calculus that happens between, okay, well, we really like this free agent edge. We feel most confident that he will be able to replace James Pierce Jr. to the best extent possible to allow us to kind of just continue carrying on. But if we're picking up that edge in free agency, that means we're probably maybe not looking so much for that particular style of player in the draft. What does that mean for the draft? A cornerback is maybe where it makes more sense from a financial standpoint to draft somebody instead of having to go and pay a really high price for a CB2 when you're already paying AJ Terrell. So I think this is the calculus that the team will have. And I say all that to say is I don't really know exactly how they're going to address all these picks. I would say this, though, about the draft. Like I said about corner, I think that corner is probably one where they will try to draft somebody. I think center as well is one of those positions where you like to have, like, almost like a franchise, like, cornerstone guy in that position. And the best way to do that is by getting them, when you're interviewing all the prospects and you get a guy in to your building from the get-go, from his professional career. And so I think that they would probably draft there. But I don't think they'll go, like, with one of their top picks for a center. I think that they'll use their top picks for players who they think can come in and start as soon as possible. So probably a receiver within, like, the first 2 picks. Maybe an off-ball linebacker as well. That's a position where, it's getting more expensive on the free agent market, but you can find guys who are able to come in and play pretty well for you at a pretty cheap cost. So those are a couple of the positions I would think they'll definitely look to address with their draft picks.
Yeah, so we got in the 4th round a couple years ago, we got Drew Dahlman, so it seemed like we kind of dodged the bullet.
That's right.
He just retired out of nowhere, 27 years old. I liked him with the Falcons, and I hated that we lost him. But geez, like I mean, shouts out to him and his family. I know they're in football, deeply.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he retired, but geez, we dodged the bullet. I know Chicago's over there. He was Caleb's guy, man.
Oh, I've got a friend who's a big Bears fan, and they immediately fell in love with him. And it's I always worry, like it's never good when a guy just up and retires 1 year after getting his first big deal. I had a friend who was like, oh well, he already got his money, so I was like, well, he put his body through like 4 years of hell on a fourth round draft pick contract, only to retire 1 year after he starts finally making actual money. That to me signals that there could be something going on in personal life, or God forbid an illness or something like that. But yeah, hope all is well with him. But it's a shame to see a good young center. But I agree with you. I really think that was one where I think Raheem and Terry Fontenot just felt like they could get by with Ryan Newsel. And I think when you get past the season, a lot of people are like, yeah, Newsel wasn't great, but whatever. And I really feel like there were a couple games where the interior of the Falcons' offensive line actually cost them the game. I looked.
Oh, yeah.
The game on the road against the 49ers was one where that 49ers defense was so beleaguered, with injuries, and they were getting pressure all game. Some of it coming right over the middle, and they were just doing it with some crazy stunts and stuff that weren't getting passed.
I think that's when Michael Penix hurt his knee.
It was when he suffered the bone bruise.
I think that kind of contributed. I think was that the same.
It was at the very end of that game. He suffered that. He had that awkward hit. They called it a bone bruise. And then I believe later it was the same knee in which he tore the ACL. And from what I understand, a bone bruise can sometimes lead to it, or be misdiagnosed as like a partial. Like you can, it actually is in some cases like an ACL incident, but it appears like a bone bruise. I don't know if that's what happened, but
just saying
when it happens like it happened, where it happens in that game, and then what was it, just like a few weeks later?
Yeah, it wasn't long after that. And then it was just,
right after he comes back,
a fall on the knee that ended up tearing the ACL.
Yeah. So I just think and with Newsel at center, I don't think it's actually that much of a physical thing with him. I feel like when he's blocking a guy, he does a fine job, but center is such a mental position. You have to be able to read the defense, kind of like a quarterback. You have to read the front and be able to understand how you're passing off so that everybody's kind of blocking one-on-one.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
Let me ask you this. Kaden Ellis, will he be a Falcon next year? If you had to guess, will he be back with the Falcons, or will we see him playing for someone else?
I think the Falcons would love to have Kaden Ellis back, but I just think that they see it as impossible because of the money that he is going to make. I'm sure that they've basically received word maybe through Ellis's camp, like kind of the deals that they're hearing that they could get, and the Falcons kind of hearing those numbers and saying, well, we can't even really match that. And I don't know if that's the case, but that's the way I perceived what Ian Cunningham said when he was asked at the Combine specifically about Kaden Ellis. Yeah. And he said, well, I think he's a free agent, first of all, and then also said that he's going to be a very highly paid free agent. And I can't remember exactly Ian Cunningham's quote, but it was something along the lines of, and we're not going to be able to afford to pay an off-ball linebacker that kind of money.
I picked up on that. He's not coming back. I like Kaden Ellis as far as leading the defense, and then from what our defensive coordinator said, it seemed like he was a big puzzle to the piece. Yeah. Piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
My thing is, I hate it when they used to spy Kaden Ellis. So I don't know. Hopefully, man, we can pick up a free agent like Diablo. That for that position, off-ball linebacker, and see what it can do. We'll see.
I thought it was interesting that Jeff Ulbrich said when he was asked about Kaden Ellis before Ian Cunningham gave his comments. He said that he values him so much. He's like two players. He's like you can't replace Kaden Ellis with one guy because Kaden Ellis can play your traditional Mike linebacker, but he can also get on the edge or get in a mugged look and rush the quarterback at a higher win rate than almost any player in the NFL, which is crazy. He and all of his brothers have these rush moves. And if you watch him in pregame, Kaden Ellis, he's doing pass rush moves. Like he's warming up, kind of like getting his hands ready to battle. But I thought it was an interesting comment from Ulbrich to say, you need two players to replace him. Because to me, I don't think Ulbrich was saying it as cynically as I kind of perceived it. But to me, I'm thinking, the defensive coordinator is basically saying, if you get rid of one of my best players on defense,
guys.
you better give me a replacement plus a little goodie. You know,
Hey, I like that.
plus
I
a
like
little
that.
something.
Yeah, he's smart. I can see that. You made me think a little bit differently. Yeah, he was definitely saying, y'all get rid of him. You better get me 2 good ones.
Yeah.
Man, look, I really like Kaden Ellis. I mean, who else can make Falcon fans forget that he used to be a Saint?
I know.
You know
right?
what I'm saying? He played that well for the Falcons. Now, am I saying that he was a dominating all-pro linebacker, one of the top 2-3 linebackers every year? No, but was he a really good player for the Atlanta Falcons to the point that doesn't even get discussed? And you know we hate the Saints.
Yeah.
And he made most of us forget that he came from the Saints. He's a Falcon to a lot of us.
He came in and did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He was signed. He played sparingly for the Saints, but did well. He came here and did what he had to do, and now he's getting paid. Congratulations to Kaden, man.
Congratulations to Kaden.
Yeah.
That signing of him was actually criticized a bit when it happened as just like kind of an overpay.
Yeah.
At the time,
he's only done it one year.
He'd only played significantly for 1 year. Other than that, he was a special teams player. And I'll say this, for the Terry Fontenot regime, while there was plenty of mistakes that happened with trades and drafts and whatnot, one thing they were consistently good at was signing these free agents, and specifically kind of these like mid-tier free agents.
So
these
my
kind of mid-contracts that a lot of people said were overpaid.
Yeah, my partner told me, he's like, man, Terry Fontenot, like, he's known for picking free agents, and that's what he did for the Falcons, except for the dude from New England, and we gave the 3rd rounder up for him.
That's right. And then
he sucked.
Yeah. That was a disappointment.
But that was a trade, though.
But that's right.
That was a trade. Wasn't a free agent.
Don't trust him on the trades.
Yeah, don't trust him on the trade. It's a free agent.
So look, since we talking GMs, right? I mean, how refreshing is it to hear our GM Ian Cunningham talk about stacking picks and not just throwing them out like Oprah just giving, you get a car, you get a car, you get a pick, you get a pick. Like Ian Cunningham is talking about stacking them. He's talking about draft, develop, retain. How do you feel about our new GM Ian Cunningham, at least what you're hearing come out of his mouth on the way he wants to run the team as a general manager?
You know, I think it's great. I think a lot of Falcons fans love to hear that. I also kind of chuckle because from my perspective as just like someone in the media who hears a lot of Falcons fans, the second there's an opportunity to like trade for some superstar, a lot of Falcons fans are like, yeah, you know,
let's trade our future.
So the Falcons fans are always going to want, you know, to bring in a player, and it's not just Falcons fans; it's every sports fan. It's Braves,
NFL team.
It's the Braves. Every trade deadline. It's the Hawks. You know, at trade deadline. It's just how sports fans are. But I think that Ian Cunningham is going to kind of live by his words. I think that he truly believes it, and I think that for Falcons fans who pay a lot of attention to this stuff, they see him coming from the Baltimore Ravens, working under Ozzie Newsome, having learned under Ozzie Newsome, and then
Ozzie the man, he the man.
Yep, and then same in
Howie
Roseman in Philadelphia, and being like, yeah, this is the kind of model that we need to have. Because, guys, I think that when you're able to build a roster in this sustainable way through draft picks, hitting on draft picks, you're never going to hit 100%, obviously, or anywhere close. But when you can build enough depth in your team through those picks, then you can do the fun trades where you go and like spend some draft capital on somebody who's going to put you over the top.
The way the Eagles did for A.J. Brown.
Exactly. But you kind of have to earn your way there. You can't just like start from the bottom by doing that. That's how you create a team that has a lot of talented players but doesn't have a lot of depth behind them. And in the NFL, you're always going to be so reliant on your depth because it's just such a physical game.
It's interesting what Ian said at the right when he was leaving. He said that when he started with Chicago, they had 5 picks and ended up turning them to 10 picks. I think we're going to trade our second-round pick to get more picks, honestly.
Do you think they'll trade Kyle? Because that's kind of what Kyle Pitts, when I first heard him say that, I thought, okay, I don't think they're going to get 10 picks, but I think that means he's signaling they're going to try to acquire more picks.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was watching a clip on the opposing station that you're on. You on 92.9. I was watching a clip with Matt Chernoff, and he had a guy on, and he said something interesting. He talked about how if you had to say what would be more valuable, would it be more valuable to have Pitts back on this 1-year deal, just a franchise, or would a 3rd and a 5th round pick be more valuable right now? And he said that he feels like if the Falcons were going to really put their belief behind Cal, it would have been a long-term deal and not a franchise. he believed that they're setting up for a trade. Now, this guy, I can't remember his name, but that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
But it caught my attention. It made my ears perk up because I hadn't looked at it from that perspective. And when he said, what do you think would be more valuable? Do you think that having Pitts on a 1 year, like just a 1 year, and then let's see what happens, or potentially getting a third and a fifth round to where we can bring somebody in the building and start that draft, develop, retain? So, I mean, what do you think about that? You bring it up, like, could they trade Kyle? Do you think that's something that they're setting up for?
I think it's, I don't know if they're setting up for it, but I think it's possible. And I think that the way that Ian Cunningham talked about it, I think this was at the Combine as well, talking about Kyle. Yeah, it was, because that was the day that they did the franchise tag. The way that Ian was kind of setting up was basically kind of like we're still evaluating, but in the meantime, we might as well just franchise tag him, because like that's pretty much his market value anyway. And let's see, let's just wait and see. And I think when he's talking about evaluation, I think it's a couple things. I think it's actually less about the player himself. You know, there's tape. They've watched this guy. We've talked about Matt Ryan knows Kyle Pitts. Like, I don't think that there's actually that much more they need to know about Kyle. I think it's we need to evaluate what the tight end market looks like for other teams around the NFL.
You know what?
Whether that makes sense for us. If it's a thin market, then teams could actually make us an offer that is worth us making.
I think it goes like this. I think they could be setting the trade. You know, Kevin Stefanski was a tight ends coach when he started. I think they want to see how that mesh. I think Kevin wants to see, hey, what can I do with this unicorn guy? Let's see if I can get something out of him. Because, I mean, he's a special specimen. Like, the man 6'6" Trey.
He's crazy.
4'5".
He's the most physically impressive player in the
locker room. Let's see if Kevin can't get anything special out of him. I think they'll trade him.
Yeah, and you're right that like it will give Kevin a chance to actually work with him a little bit, because they will have workout days, some OTAs before they get to the deadline where they will have to come to a potential contract extension or not. That will give them some time. And guys, from my perspective, like if they want to extend Kyle Pitts and give him a long-term contract, I'm fine with that. Like
I'm fine with it if he's gonna produce.
Well, exactly, and I think that's where it's like if you give the team time to evaluate, time to like decide whether he's someone for the long term or not, make that decision and roll with it. But I think from my perspective, what I wouldn't want to see is him just play out 1 year on the franchise tag and then walk.
Go somewhere else.
At that point, like, what good was he? And I don't know. Maybe the Falcons like go to the Super Bowl next year. They've got him on the franchise tag.
Yeah.
But the reason for keeping him is what you said. Like Kevin Stefanski's so set on using these big personnel sets, a lot of 2 tight end stuff. That's why, I mean, that was the idea of an offensive system for which Kyle was drafted into. This Arthur Smith, 2 tight ends, play bigger, run the football, and then actually use a tight end as the player who's getting mismatches and is able to stretch the field vertically. Now, it obviously didn't work out that great, you know, through those first several years, although, you know, the rookie year was great under Art. But we'll see. You know, I think that's just a determination that the team still has to come to it.
And so, like, my personal views on Kyle Pitts, I really like Kyle Pitts as a player. I really think that Kyle could turn into a dominating player. I really think that he can keep giving the Falcons a boost. Now, will he be featured in that kind of way?
Right.
Will it materialize out on the field? I don't know. And they do have to look at what are the financials that go along with it. I mean, as much as me as a fan, I want to be like Madden, where I just plug somebody in and they just play. But there's a whole lot that comes with it that the Falcons have to weigh that I don't, as a fan, have to weigh.
Can I give you an example?
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
So specifically with Kyle, there's this conversation that or question: can Kyle Pitts and Drake London kind of coexist at the same time? Because if you notice, like they never have big games together, right? And so it's just kind of this question that floats out there, and I think a lot of people perceive it as just like 2 big egos. They both can't catch the football or something. I think there's actually a specific tactical reason why this happens. And I think it's because both players are greatly benefited by being put in motion on the snap. But you can only put one guy in motion, and only one guy can be in motion at the snap. Yeah. And so who's that guy going to be? Yeah. I think the Falcons probably rightly say, we want that player to be our best pass catcher. Yeah. We want to put Drake, our best receiver, in the best possible position to get open and make plays for us. I wonder maybe if Drake could play more of a traditional X role, which is the way that somebody with his body type used to always kind of be profiled, like a DK Metcalf, like these bigger physical, prototype receivers where that guy who's just on the line of scrimmage on one side of the field, all the other little receivers and tight ends are over on the other side, and I get a one-on-one matchup.
Yeah.
That's the way that guys had typically been used, and maybe Drake could do that, but in my opinion, the reason why these guys are not going off together is because of this motion issue. And specifically, I think, from what I see from Kyle, he actually really struggles to actually get separation, get his release off the line of scrimmage. I see it in practice, too, a little bit, even with some of the smaller corners when they're just doing these drills, these like jam coverage drills. I just feel like he struggles a little bit more than someone with his size and strength you feel like should.
Yo, Joe, look, I look at it like this. You brought up an interesting point. I didn't even think about the motion stuff. But let's think logically, right? When you're that tall and you're out there on an island with a cornerback, you know, a cornerback is a cornerback. Their agility, whatever. I always think that Kyle should be playing next to the tackles because a linebacker, a safety, they can't match up against him.
Right.
They're going to have to double him right there.
Right.
And that's going to free up more. Maybe, I don't know if the ego thing going on, but come on, man. Like, a linebacker can't cover. You saw it against Tampa Bay a couple years ago when he just did that fly down and they threw the bomb against Tampa, and, you know, that was there. I just wish, you know, they'll pick and choose where they put him out there on an island, you know, and then just create matchup problems. I think that'll free up a lot of stuff for Kyle and for our team.
100%. And I think that's one of the other frustrations that some people have with Kyle is that you feel like someone like him should actually also be able to like win against your traditional corners. And there was a game a couple of years ago against the Jets. It was like one of those miserable games playing the Jets. It's like raining and stuff. And it was a miserable, low-scoring game. And they were trying to split him out. And I remember it was kind of a bad look. And some of the announcers were even like, oh, man, this guy like can't come down with the contested catch. He's a tight end, and he can't. And like these smaller corners are disrupting him, and that's another. I would say, kind of one of Kyle's weaknesses has been some like strength at the catch point around the football, even when there's smaller guys there. Like I see it all the time, and maybe it's hard to compare when it's Jesse Bates, but I notice like in training camps, Jesse Bates almost constantly like just knocking the ball out of Kyle's hands at the catch point. Even like he's open, he's basically got the football, and just like these little things disrupted. You'd like to see
you're
him
not knocking
come
that
down
ball
with it.
from Drake London.
Right, exactly.
Drake's hands are like glue, and I'm not trying to knock Kyle. I'm just saying with Drake London.
I've seen Kyle make some dope catches like on the sideline.
So that's the interesting thing is actually Kyle still has really good hand-eye. Like he makes some really good catches.
I was shocked one
spectacular
game on the
catches.
left sideline one day. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. His hand-eye coordination is still really good, and that's what's I think frustrating for a lot of people is he is able to come down with these contested catches, but just not maybe at the rate or the consistency that they like. So again, these are the things that the new coaching staff is going to have to evaluate him on, and again, the market as well. I think the market's going to be a big part of whether he stays around because, if they can get like really favorable compensation for him in return in a trade, I think that they would probably do that.
Yeah, they may pull the trigger on it.
If they do that, I'm not mad. If we just land the right picks like we did this year, I think all our picks this year were dope. I don't know how that tackle is at the last round, but I love everybody.
And again, to go building through the draft, like okay, if you want to build through the draft, acquire draft picks. You like that? You like that? Okay, well you might have to trade away a player that you like, but you get picks for him, and that's just the sustainable way. And again, it's like I wish the Falcons weren't in this situation where they really needed to like kind of strip down the house a little bit to kind of do some fundamental repairs, but that's where it feels like it's at to me.
Yeah, well it's not a full rebuild. It's kind of more of I guess we could say a reset. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. Running back position. Do you see them dipping their toe into free agency, bringing in like, kind of a veteran minimum option or right above veteran minimum, or you see them pulling that from the draft as far as who they want to groom behind Bajan?
I think it's a position where you typically say, okay, we can definitely get a 5th round pick. That's what Tyler Algier was to come in and do a serviceable
Forgot about
job.
that.
Right, yeah. Tyler Algier was also like 2nd in the country in college football in like forced missed tackles. And I don't like, I maybe it was like the top end speed that was just like having teams not drafting him. But yeah, I think he's a great back, and I've long kind of held out that the Falcons could re-sign him. I feel like the Falcons' interest in him is downplayed by most fans, especially if you're like a Kevin Stefanski. you want somebody that you trust that can run the football. And the Falcons have taken some swings at some, lesser running backs, some UDFAs to be fair, not like super high swings. But there was a guy from Alabama who he lasted like 1 year. No, I don't know if anybody ever talked to him.
I remember him. Yeah.
And so I just say that to say that a late round running back is not just some guaranteed thing. Like it could be a player that definitely fizzles out.
That doesn't even pan
Now, the good thing for the Falcons is that there are a ton of veteran guys that you feel like, especially if they're not the primary ball carrier, is going to be able to come in and give you good reps. I thought that guy could be Algier himself until I saw a report yesterday that said the Seahawks were in on him. And at that point, I'm like, oh, man, that's going to be tough to compete with. They just won a Super Bowl. They've got like the fifth most salary cap spending money. They can probably outbid the Falcons on this one. I just thought that maybe Algier would stick around because there are so many veteran backs on the market that maybe his value would be suppressed, but it doesn't look like it.
That could be smart since they're letting the Super Bowl MVP walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at the Seahawks for doing that because I was thinking when I was hearing it earlier, I didn't think about.
So you mean to tell me they have an Atlanta Falcons?
I guess we went to commercial kind of early.
Yeah.
I guess we went to commercial kind of early, but yeah, go ahead, B. Rich.
I was saying the Seahawks are letting the Super Bowl MVP go. I feel like that'd be a smart move for them to do, Tyler. I didn't think about that because the other running back, he's off of ACL injury.
Yeah.
I don't see him being ready.
Yeah.
I mean, when we had Michael Turner in, shout out to the Burner, man. Shout out to him and Ovi Mahaley over there at their show on the Believe Network. He talked about how we could surprise us and bring Tyler Algier back. He didn't think that it was just a foregone conclusion that we would lose Tyler Algier. And you bring it up just now about how Stefanski wants to run the ball. I think most Falcon fans would love to see Tyler Algier back for the right price. Like you said, now we're going to get completely outbid by the Seahawks, or you have a team like the Broncos who's able to come in who may need a running back to go along with the other young guy that they have. I mean, the Falcons might be completely outbid, but I would love to see Algier back. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong in remembering this. Tyler Algier never fumbled as a Falcon?
I think that's right, yeah. Never lost one, at least.
I seen him fumble one time in the end zone, close to the end zone, but he recovered it back.
Okay, so he never lost the fumble.
Yeah, I think
he got him, but it never got lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But there's a bunch of running back. I don't have the whole list in front of me. If you go to Spotrac or whatever, if you're at home, you can go to Spotrac and see all the running backs that are the free agent running backs available. But like Nick Chubb is one. Like Nick Chubb could be an interesting guy.
Come on back to Georgia.
I would love for us to get.
He knows Kevin Stefanski's system. He had his best years under Kevin Stefanski, and Kevin Stefanski says he's one of the best players he's ever worked with. So obviously there's a huge health issue there, but
I mean, I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's just kind of like one of the examples. And he's probably actually one of the more riskier ones. Probably.
Yeah. He played a lot for the Texans. He got a lot of burn.
Yeah.
So look, man. We got a few left. Do you want to go through some comments, Trey? Would you like to go through some comments?
Listen, y'all out there, man.
Such a sick setup you guys have here to just be able to read comments off the screen.
Yeah, man. Listen. Y'all show Joe some love. If you got a comment, something you want to ask Joe, go ahead and throw it in before we get up out of here. We'll definitely ask him instead of an AMA, this can be an AJA. You know what I'm saying? Ask Joe anything. You know? I can't speak for him and say he's going to answer, but if you ask him something about the Falcons, I'm sure that he will be willing to throw something out there. I do want to say this. I told you it was something I wanted to say. Yeah. That I wanted to see what your how you would react to it. Me being here, born and raised in the city of Atlanta, I never lived anywhere else. This is where I'm from. Grew up out Gresham Road. Support all the teams here in the city. I have never been to an Atlanta United game. I have never been to a game.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I got a chance to go to one Atlanta United game. You know which one that was?
Which one?
The championship.
Oh,
I saw him win.
Good one.
He showed when the getting is good.
Hey, it felt good, man. I was there, man. It was amazing.
Building was electric.
Like it's more electric than the Falcons game. I must say, the fans. Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, they stood up the whole game. It was all kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, it was cool, man. It was a cool experience. Like watching it on TV. No, take your sons to the game, man. At least one. Yeah.
It's kind of like hockey in that sense, where it's like it's way better when you're there in person than like watching on TV. And I get it. Like, if you don't know like the tactics, like what the teams are trying to accomplish, it can be kind of hard to follow. That's how I am with hockey. It just feels like a bunch of guys skating around kind of randomly. The puck is kind of,
when's the fight gonna
you're hoping to like kind of get lucky. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, yeah. But I love soccer, man. Like it's great. It's so simple. Like that's one of the things I love about it. There's like barely any lines on the field. It's just like just a ball, you know, it's very simple. Like, and this is for me, for anybody who doesn't follow soccer, it's like, don't overthink it. When you watch a game, like you can trust yourself to just like identify like which players you think are good. Like those are probably the best player. Like I feel like especially Americans, because there is this, it's like soccer like has this kind of like European kind of a, like elitist kind of feel sometimes to it. I hate that. So I just encourage people to just like enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously, but also, just like trust your gut as a sports fan if you are consuming it for the first time. And it is unfortunate, like the LA United doesn't really get the people who stand up the whole game anymore. Yeah. Sadly, they've been really bad now for a few years.
They got the old coach back, right?
They did. They got the old coach back. Whether things go better under him or not, I'm kind of skeptical. But because of the players, like the roster is just not in good shape. I still think the coach is great, but.
Oh, this is a good question.
Shout out to Arcane. That's what Arcane. I always forget the numbers. That
3180.
Shout out to Arcane. So Arcane, he comments a lot on a lot of our stuff, not only during the lives, but whenever we put up other videos, he's always active on the page, on the channel. We appreciate you, Arcane. Yeah, he said, Joe, what are your thoughts on Braylon Trice from Washington? Could he possibly be better than we think he is if he can stay healthy?
I think it's if he can stay healthy, then maybe. We haven't seen him play a professional snap yet, have we?
Well, I mean, preseason.
Yeah.
Preseason,
but
not in a regular
not in a real game. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. I think it's back-to-back ACLs.
Yes.
I'm trying to now.
And I think it was the same knee.
Yeah. So that's always really tough. Like, and again, it's like you don't want to. I never want to write off a player. I never want to say a player can't do this or that. But the reality of the situation is that it just becomes so much more difficult, and you do probably lose something physically when you go through this. And so in order to be the player that you want to be, you have to make up for that, maybe with something mental, and we'll see if he can kind of learn some of the tricks of the trade of rushing the passer sooner than a lot of others, because he's going to need to be able to do that. But I will say that for him, it's a great opportunity. He's like one of like, what, 3 edge rushers on this. 2 edge rushers. I think it's just him and Jalen Walker right now. I think that's literally it.
Yeah. So he will
get some opportunities.
Yeah. I really liked him coming out of college. I think he did a lot of great things up at Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the main guy to watch on that defense.
Yeah.
And pay attention to. Like you say, it's very unfortunate that coming into the league, you have 2 season-ending injuries right back to back.
Yeah.
But I'm still excited, and I think Arcane's probably the same way. That's why he asked about him. I'm still excited and hopeful that he can become a player for us.
I would say this, with the injuries that he suffered, I just don't think you're ever going to be the explosive athlete that you would want to be, especially on the edge in the NFL, having gone through that. So I wouldn't be surprised. And he was already a profile of player that seemed like he was a power edge, and maybe he's a player that you can put some weight on and kind of make him more of like a Zach Harrison type, where he's playing like as a tight end destroyer over a tight end, or like kind of playing like over a tackle as like kind of a quasi end, more of like kind of what you would consider like a 3-4 end.
Yeah.
I think that might be where his career kind of takes him with these injuries.
All right, man, since we about to wrap it up, do the Falcons make the playoffs this year?
I would not put money on it. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's a quarterback situation, man. Like, there's just uncertainty there, and you have a new coach that provides uncertainty as well. It's so hard to say right now. Like they haven't even made the rosters like half full.
We don't even know what quarterback is going to possibly look like
hurt
for the very first game.
You got like 2 receivers on the roster right now. You've got like you just have so many holes. I think it's hard to tell at this point how good this team is going to be. I think regardless of the results, I think that what a lot of Falcons fans will be looking for is just like a consistency week to week, and you just can never let yourself get blown out at home like they've allowed to have happen to them. Like that game against the Dolphins last year, I kind of described it afterwards like a brand damaging loss. Like,
you can't have it.
Joe, I went to that. That's the only game I went to. I think I caused that loss, man. I can't go to no more games.
It was brutal. I mean, the environment.
I paid good money for that seat too, man.
Yeah, and it was just like it was
I was
one
with
of
my son, right?
Yeah, I came and saw you.
Which one was I with? Christian or Carter?
He was with Carter.
Jeez.
It was one of those.
So my son, he doesn't like sports.
Okay.
Right. But he cheers for the home team just because he know that they're from Atlanta, and that was his first Falcons game that he can remember. Before he was too young. We've been up to the like the Friday night or the Saturday night type of thing they do before the season. But this is his first game, and that's not a good impression to leave on someone.
You gotta take him back because that cannot be his lasting impression. That was awful. That was awful, and it was it just felt like it was going to happen to me. It was like. Kind of
and I thought we was gonna win. That's why I bought the ticket,
I
Joe.
know, I
had the club ticket. I was eating free, man. Like, come on, man.
Funny, they were losing all the games they were favored in. The few games they were favored in early in the season. The Falcons.
We should have took him to the Bills game.
What's up, Jay Black?
Yeah. that was exciting. What's up, Jay Black, man? Jay Black, 142 said, "What's up to you, Joe?"
What's up, Jay Black?
Man. Well, we really appreciate you coming through.
Listen,
Joe.
Great.
Man, like, thank you. Let the people know, for any Falcon fans out there who may not know everywhere where you can find Joe. Joe, please tell them everywhere that they can find you, support you, and get some of these good Falcons knowledge that they can get outside of the Waterboyz Show, man. Let
Absolutely. The best way to support me is through that digital currency.
There you go. I think B. Rich, you got to start.
I'm on board.
Yeah, Joe's on board. He's going to be saying that too. I ain't mad.
The digital currency. So yeah, that's at 92.9 The Game. That's where I work, covering the Falcons. Huge thank you to them for putting me in this position to be able to cover the team. So do podcasts. I'd like to do more of them. Work's been crazy lately, so usually trying to get out at least one a week, talking about the Falcons, and then just kind of covering the team on all the various shows that we have on the station. So you'll catch me on those from time to time. I do the once we're in Falcon season, I do like the pregame to the pregame show with Andy Bunker. It's called the Wade Ford Tailgate Show.
Oh, we love Andy.
So if you're ever we did it on the Steel Bridge this past season. So if you ever are coming by, if you ever see me out there, definitely say hello. And if you are a soccer fan, 5stripefinal.com is where I do all that work. But I know, Falcon stuff, just 929 on YouTube. That's everybody's got to get digital now. We got the cameras in the studio. I don't know if anybody's noticed. There's a lot of video.
I see
Conte.
Mike Conte stepping it up.
Well, hopefully it will look better too. I guess there was some physical reason why they couldn't have cameras there, like something with the concrete and the walls and the building that we're in down there in Colony Square. But finally got all that figured out. So cameras are in.
It's looking good.
The clips will be going up, and that's what we'll be working on this year. Yeah.
Nice. So I'm gonna tell you now, when the season starts, we're gonna pop up on you on one of those pregame.
Nice.
So especially do it with Andy. That's one of our guys. Andy came and did the show last year. We really love Andy. Andy, a really cool dude, man. So
yeah, but I'll rip his headset off and throw it on one of you guys, so we can just take over the show.
Yeah, so we're gonna pop up on y'all. We definitely gonna do that.
Hey, ATL Quell said that Joe is one of my favorite Falcon reporters.
Man, hey,
Sir.
There you go.
Hold on.
Let's go.
We got give us a Superman, man.
Oh, Jay Black,
we got
142. Thank you.
Pull that up on the screen.
There you go. So it says, Joe Patrick. Got to put it back up there. And Joe Patrick, you are an up-and-coming sports journalist. Keep on grinding. Your professionalism and presentation of film is great. So to show you what we do, go ahead, B. How you said it?
Rise up!
Yeah. So listen, the way we read comments, if it has an exclamation point, we read it the way they type.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so much, Jake Black. That's awesome.
So he say your professionalism is great.
I really appreciate that. And the professional, I want to say too about I'm a Falcons fan. Like we were talking about, I'm an Atlanta sports fan. I remember going to Hawks games when they signed Antoine Walker. They won 13 games, I think, that year in 2004. And me and high school friends would just every Friday night. We would buy $20 seats. They put us behind the bench and to talk crap on the opposing players.
That's great.
So we've been through a lot of bad Hawks games, but I just say that to say that I'm an Atlanta sports fan through and through. But I do try to take the cap off when I'm there because I think it is important to kind of be as unbiased as possible when I'm presenting, to all you guys about what's actually going on behind the buildings. That's all I want to do is just try to be as accurate as possible with what's going on.
And that's good. And that's something that as we continue on this journey, we'll get to. Right now, we Falcon fans first. You know what I'm saying? We Falcon fans first. But we talk about environments, and then I'm going to go ahead and close us out. You bringing up the Hawks, I'm telling you, just my opinion. And I haven't been to an Atlanta United game. But I just feel like in the city of Atlanta, if and when the Atlanta Hawks are winning, I just don't feel like there's a better place to be sports-wise on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I think that arena is just rocking. I think it goes crazy. I just think the love and the aura in the building when the Hawks are winning. If we can just put some winners in the city of Atlanta, all you folks out there who say Atlanta's fans aren't real fans and we don't want to win them, man, look, you got it all mixed up. All our fans, we want to win. It's no better place than when Atlanta has winners for their sports franchise, man.
I want to give a shout out to the Hawks, man. Jonathan Kuminga, he is the real deal. I'm super excited about him. We need to re-sign him ASAP. I know we got a year option. We need to pick that option up and get him on long term. He is fun to watch. I can't take my eyes off of him when he plays. It reminds me of Trey. How Trey played. I watched Trey. I couldn't take my eyes off of him. Kuminga gives me that same vibe.
Yeah, shout out Ansi Sala, man. I think
Ansi,
he's
man,
some incredible deals. And they got a top draft pick coming up through one of those trades.
I think Ansi's that dude, man. Yeah. I think Ansi's gonna be the next up and coming GM in the NBA, man. I think he's doing a great job. Hopefully, my words don't come back to haunt me.
I would also, on the fan environment thing, like especially for me, like Mercedes-Benz Stadium is such a big physical structure. Yeah, and that's like the first thing when I first walked into it. Like compared to the Georgia Dome, even it's like, holy cow, like the ceiling is so high, huge. And the whole thing is so broad. But then like for at State Farm Arena, I was almost called it Phillips Arena. Yeah, it's like when it gets like packed and the team is good and people are electric. Yeah, you're kind of more on top of each other, and that's like one of the unique environments I think that the NBA has is you've got fans literally sitting on the floor where the players are playing, and you just have that really kind of that close proximity between the athletes and the fans. That's a great dynamic.
I tell you, go ahead.
No, I was finna say, and whoever out there is running the Hawks Entertainment and running the show down there, I want to tell you, I just talked about my son who's not a sports fan, but he is sold on going to Hawks games. He said he wants to go to as many Hawks games as we can go to. He wants to go.
Does he want to go this Monday?
No, he can't go this Monday.
I'm not a Hawks fan, but like I'm really dying going to
Joe.
Monday.
If
I heard there's some magic happening now. Dad heard there was some magic.
If I had a son and he said that, I'll be laughing my ass off, man.
I heard there's some magic going on in the building.
I was gonna say this, man. Like I haven't wanted a Hawks jersey since I got the Trae Young autograph. I want a Kuminga jersey. I want an autographed jersey for Kuminga. So Hawks fan. Hawks.
So you don't want a Zachary Richardson jersey?
I don't want a Zachary Richardson jersey as of right now. I'm kind of disappointed in him,
it's
but
inside joke.
Yeah. Trey and Doug has gotten me off of the Zachary Richardson train right now. But Zachary, I think you got a lot of talent, man. It's in your head, man. Go see a shrink.
Yeah. I thought he was like better his rookie year.
He was.
Like he was like improving that second half of his rookie year. And
he was.
Yeah. I wish him the best. Look, we about to get on there. Look, Aaron laughing, man. It is what it is, man. We about to get up out of here. Look, before I go, I want to say this. Before we started the show, we were having just some pregame conversations just amongst the crew, talking as men. And if it's one thing that I want to share with you guys, let it go. You know, like we hold on to things that happened years ago, days ago, months ago. Let it go. Get that stuff out your spirit. Get it out of your circle. Get it out of your family. Get it out of your friend circle. Like, let it go, man. Like, let that goodness and let God come in and just let it go. Too many times we let things fester. We ruin relationships. We ruin things with people that we love. And we ruin our own spirits and where we headed to. I'm somebody who has been a victim to holding on to things too long, and they blow up and they turn up at the worst time. Let it go. Get that stuff completely off your chest. Get that stuff completely out your spirit. It's not doing you any good. And chances are, some of the people that you holding things against, they're not even thinking about that situation that you went through. Some of the people that you've possibly done something to, they forgiven you and moved on. They're not even thinking about it. Don't beat yourself up. If you're the person who did something to someone, apologize and move on. And if someone did something to you, if it didn't kill you and you still here living and breathing and God waking you up every day to put 10 toes on the ground, go ahead and let it go. That's one thing I want to share. Man to man and man to woman, whoever was out there.
Sometimes you got to let it go. We got another super chat.
Hey, sometimes you got to let it go. Like, seriously, like let it go. I'm a victim of holding on to things too long, and I'm at that point where you have to just let things go. So, yeah, just let it go, man. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I like to share things when it's on my spirit and heart to share things.
Hey, Aaron, hit that blue one. That's from the Cordell shop. They gave us a super chat.
Yeah, shout out to the Cordell shop. She said, environment is why I kept my season tickets.
It's for the Hawks.
Environment down at the house. The environment.
Hey.
Look, the environment is great. It really
Hey,
is.
the Cordell shop, man, they really love the Hawks. They have the Skyhawks tickets as well, and they gave me a chance to go to one of the Skyhawks game, and I really enjoyed going there, man. The arena there is nice. It's like a mini State Farm arena. They got good concessions, man, good vibes, and you're right there on top of the players, man. Go if you get a chance, go check out the Skyhawks game.
Yeah, man. Well, look, man. Listen, we appreciate that to the Cordell shop, Jay Black, Arcane, and everybody else that left comments. What's my other guy name? That left comment was ATL up there. Of course, we talked about Jay Black, then ATL Quail, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody out there watching. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Thank you, Joe.
For hey, what
Thank
they
you,
say.
guys.
Hey, man, thank you. Listen, what they always say. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that, Joe, and we appreciate y'all out there watching. Like we always say, the Waterboyz Show. We represent Atlanta because Atlanta represents us. On behalf of myself, Trey, we got the great Joe Patrick in the building from 92.9 The Game. We got my brother B Rich. We got Aaron
Whoa, Pittman.
and of course Super
Mario and Doug.
Man, and shout out to my boy Stiller Mike and T. The Waterboyz Show.
We are out. Kill the camera.